before we talk about the gaming world and what we've seen recently, let's talk a little bit about this Steam Carnival. So you actually, you and your family actually, and others raised funding for this, right? Kind of like what you would for a startup.
Well, you know, I did mostly advice, but my oldest son did the Steam Carnival, and he is a very talented technologist, and it turns out that he's got a lot of the same old carnival instincts that I had. I don't know whether it was genetic or not.
And who did you raise money from?
He just raised money from Intel Capital and several. He just raised $6.5 million. In fact, he beat me, inflation adjusted, on my first round of funding from Atari. So, you know, It's wonderful when your kids can beat you.
Right, that's good news. That's one area where you don't mind the competition. So Nolan,
exactly.
What do you make of the fundraising environment right now? I mean, you started so many companies. You've seen also some companies fail, which you've been very open about. So what is the fundraising environment like right now?
It's probably the best I've ever seen it. Whether we're talking about pre-sales through Kickstarter-like stuff or crowdfunding of the various systems and the A+ offerings that the Jobs Act allowed. I think that there is probably better access to funding now than ever before, but it's even better than that. The tools are making it so easy to start software companies, to do all kinds of things, that I think that the landscape is, we're going to look back on it as the golden age of entrepreneurship.
But is there a dark side to this though, Nolan, which is that, you know, are we heading back to 2000 territory where, you know, silly ideas get funded and unicorns are born almost every day?
Well, I think that there will be massive opportunities for mischief. Anytime you can sell pieces of paper for money, there will be some crazy people that think that it's really fun to live a big style on investors based on a good story.
Right.
I've always felt that those are inevitable, but I think that it's going to be small and it'll be self-correcting ultimately.
Okay. Let's turn to gaming, something you know obviously very, very well, firmly in your wheelhouse. Mobile gaming is so big now, Nolan, and we just saw this deal for King Digital, the maker of Candy Crush, almost $6 billion. Is that out of hand for basically a company that created one, albeit very popular game?
You know, I'm sure that the analysis of it is that Candy Crush is making a whole bunch of money, even though it's a little bit past its prime. And as a public company, I'd be willing to bet money that Activision earnings will do well because of it. And I think that that's kind of, I think this was as much a financials as a strategic investment. But also, the Candy Crush people are very smart and very capable, and I think it'll be a nice addition to their portfolio.
What is the secret these days? I mean, you know, people say in order for Activision to really make this work, though, you know, understanding that they've got now hundreds of millions of users with Candy Crush, but what's the secret to making a mobile game work nowadays and creating another hit?
It has to be sticky, but it also has to have a monetization strategy. And, you know, one of the strategies is you get to play, but then you run out of gas, and if you want to play some more, you have to spend a little bit of money.
Right.
Or you can wait till tomorrow, and then you can play some more. And so there's kind of this trade-off between people that have an awful lot of time and not much money, and people that have a lot of money and not much time. And you can make a lot of money on the people who are willing to pay for not much time, or, you know, pay to win.
Right.
You know, free to play to win. And that means that if you really want to get the Sword of Infinity right now, you're going to have to pay some real dollars for it, and those are fun.
Before we go, Nolan, I mean, it's interesting the kind of games, though, that are now being played on mobile that are, so you've got Candy Crush. My kids love Clash of Clans. Of course, Minecraft, has been so popular. Are you surprised, just because, you created Atari and those kinds of games that were so popular, are you surprised that those kinds of games are the ones that are being that are being downloaded and played?
I've never been, the game business doesn't surprise me anymore because I've been surprised so many times in the past. And I think that there's some wonderful games. You mentioned Minecraft. It's maybe as good an educational game as has been created. I mean,
Agreed.
It teaches you so much stuff, and I mean, it's projects, and I think VR is going to be a lot like that, where you can, travel through the arteries. And then augmented reality, I think, is even going to be more interesting as we make our world come alive in some very interesting ways. So I always say the best is yet to come.